Four, three, two, one.
Welcome to the Sports Junkie Lounge. Dive into the world of sports with stories, debates, and all the action you crave. Your hosts, Chacha, D'Lo, and the rest of the Run It Back crew are here to fuel your sports addiction. Now let's get it poppin'.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Sports Junkie Lounge with your boy D'Lo and Cha-Cha.
What up, my man? What's happening?
Ah, shit. You know, this is the last episode for the season.
Yeah, man, it's been real, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's been good, talking about sports with you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
So we got a lot of things to jump into as far as the draft and a couple of things off-seasonal things that happen. So we'll start into that first. So, did you hear about Malik Beasley?
No.
Apparently, he's being investigated on an alleged gambling allegations.
And see, didn't he just get a pass for domestic violence or something?
I think so. Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah. So, yeah, that right there is.
He's gonna find himself out of the league, but
I don't understand why players do that. Like, I mean, you're making all the money. What else? Like, what's the little gambling's gonna do for you? You know what I mean? Unless you feel like that you're not gonna end up getting the money that you was making. But I mean, other than that, play the game.
Well,
show them why you need to get paid that money.
This is alleged right now, so I don't want to talk about him like he's guilty. He might just be hanging out with the wrong people.
Yeah, but usually, I mean, and I do agree with that. I'm just going off of what in the past, like Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, Pete Rose and stuff like that. When they find stuff like that, it's hard to dispute.
Yeah, because it's federal. I mean, and you have these, it's kind of like how Calvin Ridley got caught gambling.
Yeah.
I think he had created an account, maybe not under his name, but it got traced back to him.
Yeah.
The transactions and all of that. So, they say don't do it.
Yeah. So it just, and that's actually going within the U.S. The U.S. District Attorney's Office. So, I mean, if it's gotten to that point, then it's probably pretty serious.
Yeah, because it's federal, they're gonna try to have all their ducks in a row. I hope it's not true. I just I don't know, man. It just sometimes you just you don't understand the privilege that you have as being an NBA, being drafted and being able to play and get this money. But not only that, the things that I'm starting to understand now with all of these podcasts, with the former players that have these podcasts, is that there's a lot of things going on as they tell their stories.
Yeah.
Different events and different practices and all of that. I mean, they talk about a lot, like from, I seen one podcast with I'm not gonna name their names, but one player was hanging out with an opponent the night before, and they said that they got like high, like smoking weed and all of that.
Yeah.
And then the player on the opposing team, he was so messed up, he was still high. And they talked about it, and after the first quarter, he said, "All right, you good now?" And he was like, "Yeah, all right, I'm ready to play." But there's stories like that come out as, and I wish they wouldn't speak on that, but I mean, it's their right. I mean, and that's the stuff that people want to hear on podcasts. But overall, I don't know.
I mean, as far as like a podcast setting, I don't really like to hear that type. Like, I do like to hear the older players' experiences within the league. But I mean, that's kind of stuff for like documentaries, kind of like the one they have on Netflix right now. It's called Shooting Guards, and that was with Ron Artest when they who else was it? It was when they pulled a gun at each other in the locker room. I'll come back. I'll circle back around to that one because I can't remember exactly what it was.
Right. So I'm looking up this Malik Beasley stuff. So he did get charged. He got charged with felony threats of violence and drug possession with the related incident with his then wife. They recently got divorced, but even in saying that, they didn't have enough. There was, but there were no assault charges. He later pled guilty to threats of violence. So. And the NBA they don't play about that domestic violence, putting your hands. Well, the world period just doesn't play about, putting your hands on a woman.
Right.
So, and to me that's even broader because sometimes you can be provoked, and there's people who say, well, it doesn't matter, you just try to walk away. But there are plenty of situations, and I know this from experience, that you can try and try and try to walk away, and they won't let you. They would much rather get a reaction out of you. Now, I'm not saying that's all women, but it does happen, and you get left when you finally are pushed to your limit. But at the same time, when don't ignore the red flag. So my whole point is that he kind of needed to walk a fine line anyway, because he was already under a microscope for pleading guilty to threatening. Threats of violence. And something like that, they're going to look at him like, well, if you threatened her today, you probably put hands on her yesterday, or you're capable of doing that, because it was felony threats of violence. So, I don't know if it was, I'll kill you, Bert, that, but I don't know. And I hope, and once again, he's a free agent. Because I think at that time he might have been with like the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh yeah.
And now he was with and they're coming along, the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
And I felt like that they may, after watching him in the playoffs, I felt like that he probably could get re-signed. Maybe not, because he came up short in the playoffs with as far as his three, but I think he just could have expanded his game in the offseason. Maybe. Don't settle for the three when you come off the bench. Take your man off the dribble, draw some fouls. That's something you can build on. But now they're not going to re-sign him. I just don't see it. There's no way. Even if they thought about it, and even in saying it, there's no teams that's really going to touch him.
Yeah.
Not that. Federal charges of gambling.
Yeah, that's actually probably banned from the league. Because I think that's even what because Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, he got jail time for that.
That's what I'm saying. It depends. It just depends on what type of gambling he was doing. Now, if he was betting on the Pistons, then yeah, because now you have the capability of getting in there and you thinking he's having an off night, but nah, he's bet against his team, and so now he's fixing. He's fixing. So it just depends. Like I said, even Calvin Ridley got a second chance, but he was suspended for the whole year. So even in saying that, they're not going to want to touch him because, they know that the punishment is going to be severe, and why waste the money? We'll just wait. So I don't see anybody signing him. Hopefully his name gets cleared. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to wish anything bad on him at all. It's just an ugly situation with his history. And I don't know if the NBA did anything, if they punished him for it. If they punished him, I can look it up real quick.
But on a correction, that Shooting Guard documentary that's on Netflix, it's it was about Gilbert Arenas.
And the gun incident in the locker room. Yeah. Even watching Gilbert's podcast, man, some of the things, and him and watching Jeff T talk about their experiences in the league, I'm like, wow, they was just doing the most. But it is what it is, man. It's a society, it's a secret society that is before social media, that kind of stuff was just left private, but now it's accepted because with with the induction of medical marijuana, and they're like, well, marijuana is not a gateway drug to something worse. You can't get addicted and all of that. They overlook it now, but now back in the day, if you flunked a piss test, man, you was like, oh my gosh, he's an addict. He's got problems.
Right.
It's just a little weed. I just had the munchies, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how they look at it now. But you know, it's so different now. Hearing the stories, and it just makes you wonder, you know, like who was getting by those piss tests and all. I mean, you know, at first, you know, they didn't have them, but they did. You know, it was random. You know, I'm sure that they covered up for a few players. You know, or fake put up DMP. You know.
I mean, well, it's like, you know, it's known for Michael Jordan to go out and have a few beers while playing golf and then hit the court. You know, what
they
I mean?
all did. They was talking about drinking during the games. I mean, so I mean, and that is what it is. If you can play at a high level, nobody did it better than Mike. You know, they talking about what he did. He was up all night,
right?
You know, so it's just, you know, it is what it is. But back to that, I'm just in it on that, man. I'm trying to see if Malik Beasley got punished by the NBA.
No, it just, the story just broke out for right now.
No, I'm talking about for that previous charge.
Oh, for the previous charge. Yeah, I'm not. Actually,
so he was suspended 12 games. He was suspended 12 games for that. Cause like I said, he pled guilty to the felony threatening.
Oh, okay.
You know, and whatever I said earlier, but so this is like strike 2, but this is, like I said, this is even greater. So, you know, I think he was coming up on a free agent deal. Then he had just come off of, you know, it's tough, man. He's young. He's young.
Right.
You know, he's young.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate that for a young player to be caught up in stuff like that, because I mean, like, you could have had, like, even with the Pistons, I mean, what they're doing right now, like you said, like he is a contributor to what they're doing, to what they was doing. So I mean, to be able to put your stamp on that versus to a little gambling troubles, it's, you know, it's different, man. Like, it just.
And I'm not trying to rehash what he's did, and like I said, America, this is just about content to where he needed to walk a fine line. So he was charged with the threatening because he pointed a rifle at the family home.
Yeah.
You know, not a 22, not a pistol, but a rifle. And not only that, and he spent 78 days of 120 in jail. So he did jail time after he pled guilty to that, and then once he got out of jail, he had to do a 12 game suspension. So nobody's going to deal with him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just unfortunate. And I wish nothing but the best for him, man. If this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what it is, you know, it's unfortunate.
But we'll keep you updated as the story pops off. So, because there's going to be a lot more that's going to go on with that.
So he was with the Timberwolves. He wasn't with. I said I thought he was with the Charlotte Bobcats or the Hornets now.
Well, I do know that he was with the Bucks at one point.
Yeah, well, he was with the Timberwolves when all of this happened. Unless they signed him while he was locked up. He got a hell of an agent.
Yeah, right.
That off. But yeah, so, you know, I just wish him the best. Yeah, I just wish him the best, man. I hope he gets the help he needs, you know. And I just hope that he's found not guilty. I don't wish nothing bad on him, and hopefully he'll get the help he needs to just stay out of the way. Stay out of the way.
Yeah. So moving on from that, and like I said, we'll keep you updated as the story progresses. There's been a few players already that has announced that they either opting in or out of their player option. So, the first one we got to start with is LeBron. Go ahead and get that out the way.
Opting in. What was it, 52 mil?
$52.6 million. But, I mean, that probably could have been with the new change of ownership to where, he was like, maybe I got to get this money instead of.
Yeah, this guy, we've seen, what he's done with the Dodgers. He will spend money, but he won't, he's not going to lollygag just for the entertainment point. I think he's trying to win. And in America, we talked about this in the previous episode about the owner. I mean, the Lakers selling their interest to this man, and excuse me, he's the owner of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And we said that the soccer team, and so LeBron's gonna get that money. But personally, for me, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just ready for him to go. That's just it.
I mean, and that goes for me too. Like I'm done with the LeBron era. I'm ready for the new generation to see what that's going to carry on to.
Yeah, and it's nothing against him. I think, and it's been proven. Like he showed him flopping, and then he raises his hand above his eyebrows to look around and see. I mean, it's just. I mean, the videos they're all over social media. So it's not me. It's just a proven fact. He is a flopper, and not only that, I'm just tired of what they do, what his fans do to make him great.
Yeah.
What they do now to enhance his greatness by diminishing the other eras and the other players such as MJ and whoever else, that Kobe, now it's Kobe.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous, man. And we used to not do that. It was just a debate. You could have a Michael Jordan, Kobe debate and then not diminish Jordan by saying, well, he didn't play against anybody. He was in a weak era. And then they let punk ass JJ Redick come in and talk about they were plumbers and janitors or whatever, and social media in America just took it and ran with it, man. That's so disrespectful.
Yeah, because I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Jordan was my GOAT. Jordan was the reason why. Besides I'm a Kentucky Wildcat fan, and been one since I can remember. Mm-hmm. But the when I started following NBA, it was the day I seen Michael Jordan play.
Right.
And no matter what, Jordan's always going to be the GOAT.
He's the standard. He's the standard. Right. And whether you agree with it or not, that's fine. Like they can diminish, for me, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but they can diminish. They can do all the diminishing they want to about Jordan's career, that they enhanced his stats. He wasn't a real defender. And I mean, these people never even watched him play and saying he didn't have a left hand. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But even in saying that, it doesn't matter if you take Jordan out of the equation. LeBron is still not my GOAT. He's just not my GOAT.
And that's the thing that I was saying. I had no matter what, I was a Jordan fan through and through. I had people friends growing up, they were a Kobe fan.
Right.
And even when we talked about who was greater, we didn't diminish one or the other.
We acknowledged because we seen it.
Because I will never demolish what Kobe did.
Diminish.
Yeah.
Said demolish.
I will never.
May he rest in peace, America.
Yeah. I will never. And even when he was alive, I was never one to take away from what he did with the game.
And I wasn't. And I'm gonna tell you, America, I was not a big Kobe fan, but.
Same.
Just because I wasn't a fan didn't mean I didn't appreciate his greatness. Because even with LeBron, there was a point that I had to say, well, I've got to give him some kind of credit, because everywhere he goes, they win, and then they do worse when he leaves. So I could not say that he was not great. There was no way I could just say that, because then I would be delusional as this media to social media fans today trying to diminish Jordan. I could have easily done that while he was in Miami, or when he left Miami to go back to Cleveland. It would have been easy for me to diminish his career. It would have been easy, but that's just not what we did. That's not what we did. We didn't say, well, he didn't win. He only won because of Pippen or specific players. Because every Batman has a Robin, and every Robin has a Teen Titan that's coming up that's going to enhance your team through the draft or whatever. So it wasn't even about that. He got swept, and then you got the old heads chiming in trying to diminish Jordan, like somebody like Isaiah, and he's just mad about. The Last Dance, where he called him an asshole, where he was called an asshole because of him walking off the court when they finally got that hurdle.
Yeah.
And they'll say, well, they beat an old Pistons team. And I can get on there and say, well, they finally got through Boston when they was old. They're like, no, Boston was in their prime. Okay, America, I'm going to say it to you all. the Celtics were owed when the Pistons got past them. Okay, now if your argument is no, they were not. Larry Bird was in his 8th or 9th season, whatever. Say that if you want to, but I tell you what, go back and watch the 30 for 30 ESPN documentary on the Bad Boys. And guess who said that they was owed, that we knew we were going to beat them because they were owed? It wasn't me. It was Lambert. He said it.
No.
He said it. Everybody knew that they were a shell of themselves. After going through those battles with the Lakers and even going through those battles with the Pistons, they were, it was physical. Bird's back was starting to give out of him. Mikal's ankle was not the same, and Madison is not the same as it is today as it was back then. And so, yes, they were owed. And then they can say that the Pistons were owed when the Bulls got past them. But they only say that to diminish Jordan because, the Pistons were in the Eastern Conference Finals and won it the year before. They had just won it. They had won it. They had beaten the Trailblazers in 90.
Well, and I remember watching like all the, the hardware classic of those series between the Bulls and the Pistons, and because I was just a little bit more younger to remember the actual Bad Boy Pistons. I just do my history, and I watch all the 30 for 30s and back hardware classics and all that stuff. But I remember the only way they was able to take Jordan out was to throw him to the ground.
Right. And that's fine. And he didn't cry about it. They try to say, and Isaiah Steam, he's Steam heads that. He's the head of that. He went to when everybody else was doing it wasn't a problem, but Jordan, when it happens to Jordan, it goes to, that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because we all know that Jordan got in the gym.
Yeah.
He got in the gym, and that's just a fact. He got in the gym. His weight got bigger. He got stronger. Even the ex-players say he was so strong when he backed you down, you could not get around him in the post. So, America, this is not about MJ, but the point of it is just what we're trying to say is just I'm just ready for LeBron to move on into whatever it is that he wants to do with his life.
Yeah.
Because I am sick and tired of the social media, and then when you say, and then you can say, well, Bronny is not ready for the NBA. Oh, you hating. No, I'm not. I am a fan. I'm a fan of the sport.
Right.
I'm a fan, and I'm not a Laker fan, but I am a fan of the sport. And if I say, well, there's other people, other players, college players, that could have been drafted ahead of him because he also got guaranteed money. On top of that, in the second round, a 55th pick doesn't get that, but he did. And then they say, well, what NBA dad would not want to play with his son? All of them. All of them would want to. All of them would want to, but that's not me as a fan. That's me as a father. But as a fan, I want to see the best product put on the court.
Yeah.
And Bronny just wasn't it. And then they want to say, oh, well, he's averaging 30 points in the G League. That's what they do in the G League. They score because they trying to get into the NBA. They all score like that. When was the last time you heard somebody get on the internet and say, oh, James Doohickey is averaging 30 points a game in the G League? They never posted anything like that until it was Bronny. And so that's what I say, man. It's just, I'm so sick of it. And that's all I have to say about it. But who else signed on?
Okay, so we got the LeBron rants out the way.
What?
So
I was just playing.
It's time to move on.
I've been wanting to get that out all my life.
So Dorian Finney-Smith. That's always a tongue twister for me on that name. Like, I don't
Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah. How? It's easy.
I don't know. There's some type of names that it's a tongue twister for me.
Dorian 25th. I don't know. 25th.
But he declined his $15 million player option. He plays for the Lakers.
Get out of there. He's seen LeBron's come back.
He did play for the Pistons. Like, he's been a player that's been moved around a lot. Like, he played for the Pistons. I think he played for the Warriors. Like he's been moved around.
Yeah.
But right now he did decline for
He wants to go. He wants to
Yeah.
go. You can, and I'm not going to get into LeBron, but he wants to go.
Yeah. And then you got Julius Randle. He decided to return with the 3-year,
Yeah.
$100 million deal.
Yeah. With the Timberwolves?
Yeah.
Yes. Stay, man. Stay. You yes. Yes. That's a good spot for him. It was his first year. It was rocky in the beginning. They were like, you got him for you got rid of him. I mean, Big Cat, and brought him in.
Yeah.
And they struggled because they didn't have any, cohesiveness or whatever, but they found it and they were able to do what they were able to do. So yeah, man, hang in there, Julius, man. I see big things for you all. Y'all get some more pieces, and then maybe Anthony Edwards will get off of social medias. I seen a video where he's talking to one of his baby mamas or one of his chicks or whatever. Like, he young, but he can have it.
Yeah.
But focus on the game and get you a bag. I mean, we know you're athletic, but you got to be able to play with your back to the basket more.
Yeah.
And not settle for the three. If you ask him, why are you, what would you say when people say, you're selling for the three too much? F them. Nah, man, they trying to tell you something, man. You need because he's shooting more this year than he did last year, and his percentage was down. And you could see it in the game. He needs to get in the gym because he tried to expend a lot of energy in the playoffs. And it wore him down.
Yeah.
You can see, and so get in the gym. You can't rely on your athleticism because if you want to be able to play on both sides of the ball, number one, you're going to have to get you a bag as far as what you have to bring. Up and unders, back to the basket, little fall away here and there. And then on top of that, you're going to have to get stronger and work on your cardio because it takes a lot.
Yeah.
To guard those shooting guards and run off and do what he was doing. And he did a lot. He did good. I mean, who was that he, LeBron.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, again, when he was expending all of that energy and he tried to do that in the next round, who put them out? Was it, it was Shea and them, right? Was it the Thunder?
Yeah, I do think it was the Thunder.
And so he tried to do the same thing and just you could just see that he was spent. And when you spent, even if you don't want to shoot the three, you're going to settle. Yeah. And it just showed, man,
Yeah. So you got Duncan Robinson declined his $20 million player option.
Oh, he trying to get out of Miami.
Yeah.
He trying to get out of Miami.
Well, he's trying to work on a new deal for Miami.
Oh.
So that's always a tricky thing.
With Pat Riley?
No, right? Pat Riley ain't about that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he did a lot for don't get me wrong. Pat Riley, I mean, he showed his true G when he waited for Eric Spoelstra's divorce to go final before he gave him his extension.
Sometimes we men gotta stick together, man. It's hard out here in these streets, man.
But
keep on doing what you're doing on that note. But he's that.
But he ain't about that player empowerment thing. He's one of them. He'll tell you.
He's the Belichick of the NBA.
Yeah,
man.
if you got to go, you got to go.
We can get another one of you. We can get two of you and just get them, 700 yards receiving a piece. Like said, Randy Moss had the best year ever. They were 18-1. I mean, career touchdowns for Tom Brady, and even he knew he was gone.
Yeah,
he knew he was. He said, "I probably won't be back." Yeah, that's because the writing was already on the wall behind closed doors. They were not negotiating on it. Look, Don, ain't no sense in your agent coming over here because it is a done deal. You are out of here,
right?
And they should have kept him, man. But that's and you see what happened. Belichick he should have been building a team post Tom Brady, and he never did. And it just and he tried to get him. He tried to find him another one a diamond in the rough with your boy Matt Jones.
Yeah,
what is that his name? Jones, the one that he brought that came from Alabama.
Oh yeah,
the quarterback, and he got them to the playoffs his first year, but he didn't have the right attitude. He just didn't have the right attitude. But now he's he's going on. He went to Jacksonville last season, but now he's with another team. Now they were through a trade, but I think, or maybe it was the off season or mid season. I can't remember. But we'll get, next season, America, we're gonna get into the NFL, so I don't want to get into that too much. But but yeah, like I said, Pat Riley is the Belichick of the Miami Heat. He ain't, like, you see what he did to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna go out here and launch these threes with no effort, clank." He's like,
right?
Oh, we gotta go, let him go.
Right.
But yeah, it's gonna be hard for Duncan Robinson to, try to restructure. I mean, and then both sides have to come together and agree, because if he tries to get more.
But my question is if he does leave the Heat, where do you think he's going to be able to go? Like, who do you think's going to pay him?
Any team that just needs somebody to spread the floor. Anybody that just that doesn't, he's already coming off the bench, and you don't need him to do much. And then on top of that, his defense is suspect.
See, I think the way he declined his player option, I think he thinks he's worth more than that. So,
like I said, it depends. It could be the Spurs. It could be. I mean, the Spurs have always had that system of being able to fit in a 3-point shooter, but they're growing as far as evolving into today's game. And we'll have to get back on that, because there have been some trades too. There have been a lot of trades that have changed the dynamic of teams, and so. But there's somebody out. There's always room for a 3-point shooter. Yeah, a 3-point shooter. There's always room for that. So, but I don't know what he's asking for either. So
right. That's the point. Like, if you're asking for more than $52 million, or was it $52 million? But I would say get it where you're at, get in where you fit in. You're making that money. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make more money or that same money going somewhere else.
Right. And was it really worth him opting out? Because what has he really done for Miami? What has he really done for them? I mean, he's all right, but he hasn't been clutch. No. He hasn't been clutch. I mean, and he had his moments where he shined when Hero was out, but there was times where he was a liability on defense. There was times where he was in the doghouse where he was not even coming onto the floor at all. So, has he really done enough to opt out? Yeah. I don't know. And once again, like I said, who knows what he's asking for, but
we'll keep you posted on that one.
That's
the one, I think he's a young buck, but I do want to give him his flowers. He did sign a 3-year, $9 million for back to the Thunder on AJ Mitchell.
Okay.
So I see that one being a good one, because y'all just won the championship. Y'all can win more if y'all keep the team. If y'all keep the team intact. This is probably that kind of mood to where I will take the cut to keep the team intact.
Yeah, and they were the best team in the West the previous season. I mean, they were the best team in the West, and so America, you have to remember the OKC was the number 1 seed in the West last season. The difference between this season and last season was they boosted their defense, number one, by getting Caruso, who was all defense. He made all defensive team, and you've seen what he did. He's that dude. He's always been that dude. And then they got bigger because they were too small. That's how Dallas was able to get past them to go to the finals when they had Luka and Kyrie, and they had them young, Lively and Gafford and all of them. They were OKC, and they were too small. I said it. Somebody asked me, I said, "Oh, they too small. They too little. And it showed. And so they went out and got Hartenstein from the New York Knicks, which was a good pickup. Yeah, he's got that shot put that he throws in the paint. But it falls, and he gets you extra possessions. He can get you on a good night. He can get you on an average night, he can get you 6 or 7, but on a decent night, he can get you 10. But when he's on, he can get you 15 rebounds, 12, 14 points just off of scoring on the offensive rebounds. But not only that, he's going to get you more shots. So that was an awesome pickup along with Caruso. And then the evolution and the maturity of Jalen Williams. He was an all-star this year.
Yeah.
So, and then they got rid of Josh Giddey, which once again, it helped their defense. It helped their defense. Giddey's a good point guard.
And I think it helped them at the time what he was going through. I think it helped the morale too.
Yeah, right. With the whole young girl thing. But then not only that, so you add Chet Holmgren too, the 7-footer, with Hartenstein. So he stays out of foul trouble, and you can interchange him, play him at the same time, or switch him out. And Chet, his game has, he's getting better too. He's getting better. So like I said, America, don't forget OKC was a number 1 seed in the Western Conference last year. So they and they're young, and so I think that to me, from what I saw, I think they could get another shooting guard when SGA needs a breather, because he can be ball dominant, but he knows how to concede too.
Yeah,
he knows how to concede too. But get you a nice, maybe even a veteran, that can, not him. I was gonna say Powell at Clippers, but he's not coming off the bench. But you could find you a shooting guard and let SGA. He needs to work on his handles a little bit more too. He's good off the dribble, but and he's a decent assist, and that might be something that he might need to work on too.
Yeah,
is being able to drive and dish. What was his assist for the season?
That's a good question. But while you look into that, we'll get into this other one. James Harden. This is actually breaking news. James Harden declined his player option and will sign a 2-year, $81.5 million contract to return to the Clippers.
Okay, good. I'm ready for him to go too. Good. Just you're not that dude. You're not that dude.
Yeah.
You're not that dude. So get your money. And you got Maxey, and Paul George, he can't stay healthy. But I mean, just stay where you are. Don't go somewhere else and mess that team around.
Right.
Just don't do it, because you're not that man anymore. You're just not him.
And on a retirement issue, Bogdanovic. He announced his retirement.
Okay.
He played 10 seasons, 6 teams. So I mean, go ahead and enjoy your retirement.
Yeah, he got his money.
Yeah. So you did what you did. That's cool. The one trade for the draft, before the draft, I want to ask you your opinion on what do you think about the Jrue Holiday trade?
You know what? I haven't had a chance to. I heard he got traded, but I didn't. Who did he go to? What are the details of the?
They traded him back to the Trailblazers.
No, he was never with. Oh, did he get drafted by them?
No. So what happened was when Milwaukee traded him, they traded him to the Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers traded him to the Celtics.
Right.
So and then they traded him back to the Trailblazers for Simmons.
Ooh. Simmons. Ooh. You know what?
So
I think I like it, but I don't like it. The Celtics, what they showed me was that they need to be better on defense. Forget about that trying to outscore your opponent. That doesn't carry over into the fourth quarter. They've shown it time and time again where they get up by 20 and then they fall flat. And then even when Tatum went out in game 4, because what they lost in 5. They lost in 5. So it was 3-1 when Tatum went out. And so the Pacers went into Game 6 to close it out, and Mazzulla he left Jaylen Brown in and let him foul out in the third quarter. And the whole team was just jacking up threes. They weren't even trying to just make the game simple, and that to me is just, number one, it's poor coaching. But you can get back in the game, and it's not like Indiana was doing a whole lot, but they focused so much on offense that the defense just didn't matter. And so I feel like that Mazzulla, honestly, I think this coming season, even with Tatum being out, because we don't know when he's going to come back with his Achilles tear, but I think Mazzulla is going to he's going to be like a Thibodeau in a Thibodeau situation. He's, because they've been doing it for the last couple of years, just getting these big leads, and then they blow them. I mean, look what the Pacers did to Cleveland, and in the playoffs, and the Celtics struggled. They struggled with Cleveland. They get up on all these teams, and so I think their identity needs to change. I think they need to be able to focus on their defense and create offense, just like the Thunder.
Yeah.
And I think, all these, these threes after threes after threes, I think Mazzulla's got to come up with a game plan. And so to your original question, I like it. I like Simmons. I think once again they went for scoring at that position, because Jrue Holiday, he's a scorer, but 8 to 10 a game. He's not a 15-point player. He's not going to get you that, but his defense, and he's strong. He's so strong.
See, and that's the problem I have is he's the type of person that ramps your defensive up. Like, if you don't have a good defensive minded team, he's the type of person that will bring that up because he is a defensive mind player. So when you see a player go hard in a position, or you see a player go hard as far as like offense or defense, that makes you want to amp up your play to match his. So I think it's a loss on the Celtics. I'm not really familiar with Simmons because I know he's a young cat.
They're up and coming. They're up and coming. I like him. I do. I like him. And I think that I don't know if Boston was the right fit, but I think as far as scoring, I guess he's gonna come out starting.
Yeah.
And because Porzingis is going too. Porzingis.
Yeah.
He's going too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like I said, I just think that Boston needs a whole new defensive identity. So as far as scoring though, I like it for them.
Right. Okay.
I think, and my final thought is, Holiday will bring veteran leadership because Portland is a team that can score. They're just one of those teams that can't close it out, can't seal the deal.
Yeah.
They can get up on you in the first 3 quarters, and in that fourth quarter, they just don't have that leadership to just, seal the deal. And I think Jrue Holiday may be that person.
Yeah.
And he's a pillar of the community. Him and his wife, they I've heard the things that they do as far as, community work. So I think it's a win for Portland all the way around.
Right. Yeah. So on that note, we'll get straight into the NBA draft after this note. So when we come back, we will get into this and see what unfolded and see what happened. So we will be back. All right, everybody, welcome back. Like I said, we getting back into the NBA draft.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with the top 10. There was a lot to get to. I like to start off with the top 10 just because, nowadays you got a lot more people coming over from France and the EuroLeague.
Yeah. I think it was like, 6 or 7 from France is what I heard.
Yeah.
Overall, I don't know if it was the first round or not. Not the first round.
Not in the top 10.
Nah.
So, of course, the number 1 pick was
Cooper.
The Mavericks picked Cooper Flag.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the Spurs. They picked
Dylan
Harper.
Dylan, and Dylan. By Spit Hot Fire. Dylan Harper. If you don't know, that's Ron Harper's son.
Yeah.
Out of Rutgers, and Rutgers made some noise this past season. They were legit.
Then you had the 76ers.
Edgecombe, VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. He good. He good. And so they got him at guard. So good for them. Good for them, because once again, what's his name? Who were their guards? Of course, Maxey and
Oh, you talking about the 76ers?
Yeah, it was Maxey, and was Harden on that team?
No.
No.
Harden was already in the Clippers.
Yeah. he had left there. Right.
Yeah. So I think they could use a backup guard.
Yeah, it was Paul George was the point guard. He stayed hurt though. It was Paul George.
No, with this team coming out of this season, it was just Maxey.
It was Paul George. In the off season last year, Paul George left the Clippers because it was the Clippers. It was the Clippers and Harden. Yeah, and he went, but in which they were supposed to make some noise, but he got hurt.
Yeah,
he stayed hurt. I ain't gonna say he got hurt. He stayed hurt.
And then number 4, the Charlotte Hornets picked Knipple.
Okay, all right, so. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it again. I just didn't see it. I didn't see how he could be a lottery pick, and especially top 5. I just didn't see it. He's got a lot more to show me as far as being an NBA player.
Yeah.
As far as lottery.
There was actually a lot of Duke players that actually got.
There was 3 that went in the top.
In the top 10, yes. There was a lot more. I mean, there was a couple that even got picked in the second round, but then you had Ace Bailey. He got picked by the Jazz.
Another Rutgers guard, and he didn't want to go there.
He got for number 5. Trey Johnson, number 6.
I like it. I like Trey Johnson. He gave us that work.
Yeah,
he's from Texas. That freshman guard at Texas. I like him. He's nice.
So, how do you think that will go with Jordan Poole and the Wizards?
I like it. I like it because Johnson is a point guard. He's a scoring point guard. And then they started making noise near the end of the season because they picked up Middleton.
Yeah,
Middleton. I don't know if the Wizards are bringing him back, but I like it. I think he'll fit in nicely, and that they just need to bring some pieces in. Once again, they're one of those teams that, to me, the Wizards. Because they got that dude from Gonzaga, Crispin.
Yeah.
2. He's their 3, and I saw a lot of things developing for them once they picked up Middleton, and there was somebody else as well. I can't remember, but I can see them. I can see Johnson being a great fit for them. They're another team that just can't seal the deal. They're a team that can get out on you early.
Right.
Get out on you early, but they can't seal the deal. And I don't know where Trey Johnson will fit in on all that, but he's the truth. I like him.
Yeah. And then at number 7, you had Jeremiah Fears coming out of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He got the Pelicans got him, so that might be a good one for him.
Yeah. Did New Orleans? Did they get rid of
McCollum? That was a trade they did do was McCollum.
Okay. So what about Ingram?
I think they still have Ingram.
So that's the question. Just for the Pelicans are very competitive. It's just a matter of, so what are you gonna do with Big Boy?
Yeah.
What's his
Zion
name?
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zion. But yeah, are they gonna move on from him? He doesn't seem to be committed to keeping his weight down, and he did a good job this year. But when it comes to his injuries, he has setbacks to where his timetable is always pushed back, and they say it's because he doesn't take his rehab seriously. He may be one of those. He may be one of those that just thought he could get in there and be great, but there's work to do. There's levels to the NBA that's unseen until you get put in that fire, and so a part of that is his rehabbing, and so
yeah. And so at number 8 you had Denham at a BYU. He went to the Brooklyn Nets.
Brooklyn, three. That's a 3-point shoot.
Yeah, I mean he's a guard, so I mean he was 8th in position, 11th in overall ranking. So I mean I don't really know too much about. And this is the thing about the draft. Like some of these players I'm not really too familiar with. I do think that the Brooklyn Nets do need other guards, but I think they need more of a veteran guard.
Now he's 6'8" though. He's 6'8". Yeah, he's 6'8". Because I'm looking at his strengths and weaknesses. His weaknesses that they have listed. This is off of ESPN. His average explosiveness, streaky 3-point shooting, and decision making made his playmaking unpredictable as he struggled with turnovers in the Big 12. So he's just got to clean. There's some things he's going to need to clean up. But we all know, about, like I said, he's a 6'8" point guard.
Yeah,
6'8" point guard. So he had an up and down season. So that we have for him. I didn't know he was 6'8". I didn't know he was 6'8".
I didn't actually know he was 6'8" either.
Yeah, 199 pounds. So he put so he's got to take care of the ball.
Yeah.
They say that he has the best court vision in this draft. So he has the ability. He can, if you stay alert, you be one of them guys that get hit over the face, get over the head with the ball, get hit over the head because you didn't see it coming. But
yeah.
There's some things he's got to work on. So if that's what Brooklyn needed, then hey, yeah.
Yeah. And then number 9 you had Colin Murray Boyles. So
he's a big.
Yeah, he went
the Raptors.
Yeah, the Raptors. He was the he was the forward out of South Carolina. Yeah.
He's not a shooter. He's
more of a point player.
I'm gonna say he's not a scorer. He's not a scorer. He's not a big that's gonna step out on you. At least he didn't do it at South Carolina.
But he is somebody that gets you points in the paint, though.
Yeah. So his strengths. He is an unconventional big man with a stout frame. So he's got some strength and size. Physically, or his physicality, defensive instincts, and passing vision. But he's not that tall. He's 6'7".
Yeah,
he's 6'7". So he's gonna have to develop a shot. He's just gonna have to. That's just at 6'7". He's got to find him a shot.
Yeah. And then the number 10, this is the only one in the top 10 that was a traded pick. It was
Phoenix.
Yeah, the Rockets picked the center from Duke, McCollum.
Maluach, I think is how you put it. Maluach.
Yeah. Sorry for my pronouncing, y'all.
That's all right.
Some of these names,
It's just-
for real, like. But he got picked for the Rockets, but they traded him to the Phoenix.
Phoenix, and that will serve them well. He is a player that don't expect a lot of offense from him, but he will have defensive prowess. He will alter shots. He will get you extra possessions. And he's high energy. Can he stay out of foul trouble? That remains to be seen. That was his problem at Duke. Sometimes it was just keeping him on the floor. But he's got a strong upside to him. He's got a strong upside to him, and he's 7'1", 250, and he doesn't look it, but he's 253 pounds. And so, but in today's game, there's not a lot of post play, for that you have to worry about. He's and he's going to be able to move and keep up with the bigs that pull him out, and plus, like I said, he came from Duke, so he's going to be fundamentally sound.
Yeah. So, and then, we'll jump
And he's
ahead.
only 18.
We'll jump ahead because, a lot of the first round picks, they were traded off, and a lot of them, that's where the Euro picks came into play.
Yeah. But let me before we do say that, I want to say this real quick. There was I was on a website. It might have been CBS Sports or something like that, and they were talking about some of these first round picks that just are questionable. And the dude from Duke that was the number 4 overall pick.
Yeah. Knipple.
Yes, Knipple. They said the same thing I said, that they just didn't see an upside to him. To where he was going to be lottery. And these are all just, projections and opinions. And so, but they saw the same thing. When I watched him play, I think it was more the system. It was more the system than him.
Yeah.
And so if his three is good, then he's good. But I don't see it. I just don't. But that's all I'm saying, America. I wasn't the only one that felt this way, on a fan level, but some media outlets felt the same way as I did. So
Yeah.
good luck to him, but
Yeah. It's the same for Proctor, who got picked on the 49th pick in the second round.
that's legit. Yeah, that's legit.
So
I think Proctor's legit as far as the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's legit.
But so I'm gonna dive in a little bit to the Kentucky Wildcat, because me and Cha-Cha, we both Kentucky Wildcat fans. We won to the day we die. We bleed blue
All day.
But and I honestly hate to put him in the category, but he was a Wildcat. Even though he skipped the ship when the coach did. Theo, he went 36.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he
I
went
did
30.
not know that.
He went 36 to the Brooklyn Nets, but they traded that to LA Lakers. So
Ooh.
So
Damn. Ron's going to ruin him.
yeah. So yeah. And then you had Kobe Bryant. He got picked 41.
41st, yeah, to Golden State.
But then he got traded to Phoenix.
Oh, I see what Phoenix is doing. Hopefully they won't bet the farm on another, because they had a young nucleus, and we've talked about that. But I'm not gonna get into that. When they should have ran it back when they got to the finals and CP3 got hurt. They should have ran that back. They just blew that up just to get KD, and KD is just not a leader. He's not somebody you can take your team and put on your back. That's just not him. And so I see what they're doing now. Him also, they're gonna have 2 cats, Booker.
Yep.
Booker and Bray. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And then Amari Williams, he got the 46th pick.
Boston.
Well, he got picked for Magic, but the Magic traded to Boston. So
Yeah.
how do you think he's going to do for Boston? Because I think that might be good if they keep him down in the paint like he should have been. He might be good with Horford.
Horford retired.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they may need the enforcer in the paint if they keep him down the paint.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
So
I'm happy. I'm happy to see him in Boston because his ability to pass is off the charts. I don't know if they'll develop a shot for him, but he's gonna be another player that gets them extra possessions. Like I said, they had to. They got rid of Porzingis.
Yeah.
Couldn't stay healthy, but I think he's a good fit for them. He's a shot blocker, and as I stated earlier, Boston needs to establish a defensive identity. And that's a good pick. I did not know he got traded to Boston, but I'm okay with that.
And then let's see here. There was a couple, I think 1 or 2 that went undrafted. So let me get that real quick. In the meantime, to end a saga, I know this is gonna be overrun, but we're gonna go ahead and bring up Ziegler one last time.
Let's do it.
He went undrafted after all that noise he put with Tennessee. As I want my fifth season. I want my NL money. He went undrafted to the Pistons.
Okay.
But he only has the contract throughout the summer league.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens there. But as far as to end that saga, as far as what happened to him with him suing the NCAA for a 5th season and I'm L money, and then the judge throwing that out to where he put it in again and then he got thrown out, he ended up getting undrafted. So but then you had
Caleb Love and Hunter Dickerson.
Yeah,
I forgot about them. I thought Dickerson was trying to come back.
But then you had Lamont Butler. He went undrafted to the Atlanta Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andrew Carr went to the Trailblazers as undrafted.
Okay, yeah.
Jackson Robertson, he still has had a destination.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if my mistaken, was he a senior?
Yeah.
Was he a senior?
Yeah, he was done.
Okay. I didn't know.
Done.
I didn't know if he had
his eligibility. He was done. Once
Okay.
he broke his wrist, he was done.
Because I figured that could have been one player if he would have stayed. If he could have stayed, he should have probably stayed. But his injury just kind of and the same thing with Lamont with Butler. His shoulder injury. I don't know how.
Nagging.
Yeah, I don't know how much it's going to be to where he's going to be. But he did sign a 2-way contract to where he'll play into the G League with the NBA team. So, yeah.
Oh, I got some other names here. That's not UK. Sears.
Yeah,
he went undrafted. He went to Milwaukee. Milwaukee got him.
Oh, okay.
And then the other guy from the power forward from Alabama, Grant Nelson.
Oh, okay.
He got picked up by the Brooklyn Nets. Ryan Nembhard. Them Nembhards, they just keep coming.
I know, right? I mean, it's like the Greens. The Nembhards is new. It's the new name now.
the Plumleys, boy. The Plumleys. Is another one. But he got picked up by Dallas. So good for him. The Lakers picked up Eric Dixon from Villanova. That's a good pickup for them. Like I said, LeBron is going to crush you anyway. Hunter Dickinson for Kansas, the center. He went to New Orleans.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're let me see if there's anybody. Caleb Love went to Portland. I'm telling you, man, they coming.
McNeely, he went from UConn. He ended up going. He got picked by Phoenix, but he went to the Hornets.
And Yeah, yeah. And there's a player from UConn that got drafted in like the first or second round that they questioned. They big man. Let me go back to the first round. Quick. What is his name? He's from, or maybe he didn't know. He didn't go first round. I mean, for top 10, but I think he went. Let's see, I can't never remember his name.
I'm thinking
Liam McNeely.
Yeah, McNeely. That's what I was saying. That's what I said.
29th. He got traded to Charlotte.
Yeah.
He got traded to Charlotte from Cleveland via Utah. So yeah, I don't know about that. He was another one that made that list of questionable first round picks.
Well, I know it's a guard-studded league, but out of all these people in the first round, that's basically all I see is guard here, guard there. I see a few centers, a few forwards, but it's just, can we get back to a league that is like, you have both outside and inside play? Like not everybody's going to need a guard. And then most of the second round it's forwards and centers.
Yeah.
Well,
and then the centers, there's not a lot of centers that they draft for scoring purposes. So a lot of teams go get them for defensive purposes, just to be able to get rebounds and clog the middle. You see very few that can spread the floor, because that's what today's game is: a center that can spread the floor, step out.
Yeah.
And so that's what it is. I think that if some teams went back to that, they could make some noise if you focused on playing outside in, because the thing about the 3-point game is that you live by it and you die by it. And like I said, and we've seen the NBA, man. It's, you get up by 20, 25 points. Look what the Pacers did. They did their thing. They no lead is safe, and so take the easy two. Don't get a steal and then swing it to the corner. So now because now you're trying to get it all back at one time, in my opinion.
Right.
But of course, if you're on fire, if you got your foot on their neck, then go for it. But sometimes it's a marathon and not a sprint. And so I think a lot of teams would benefit if they just didn't mind. OKC, they shot a lot of threes, but at some point they didn't mind working for an easier two. Of course, with Shai SGA, doing his thing, he got a whole lot of twos.
Yeah.
He wasn't a great 3-point specialist, but so they're a lot of teams are going to have to get back to that.
Yeah. So the draft is more or less, it's like I said, like there's a few players I'm like, well, I already knew that was going to happen. There's a few players that I'm like, they probably could have went up a little bit more. There were some teams that made the trades that probably shouldn't. Like Kobe Bryant. Like I don't think the Warriors should have slept on him. I don't. That's not even being UK biased. I don't like. I think give him overtime, and I think he will be a good offensive player for the team that he gets to.
I don't know what their intentions were. Steph is he's another one on a timetable as far as his career. He's not slowing down, but the game is, you can see the game is wearing him out, and Steve Kerr, he'll set him down for a whole third quarter or most of it, 3/4 of it, bring him in with 4 minutes left, depending on the outcome. But I, I don't know. I don't know what he's looking for. I don't know what he's looking for as far as replacing him, because you got what's his name, Kumanga, or
Oh yeah, come on, yeah.
he doesn't. Kerr doesn't play him right.
Right.
He doesn't play him right, and he's going to get his money. But that's what they need to do. They need to focus on bringing in somebody else that can score. But who did I would be curious to know who they traded Barea for.
I think. Let's see. I don't know if they're going to say who actually they traded him.
I'm gonna look it up. Who did Golden State get in the draft? Oh no! All we got to do is go to the second round of the draft, and it'll show.
Well, it does say that the Suns traded up with the Warriors earlier Thursday to acquire the pick of the moving the 52 and the 59th picks, but they didn't say who they traded him for. But I don't know. I think if they ever do play Barea and Booker at the same time for the Phoenix, I think that might be a good combo for him. Because Barea can go from a shooting guard, and he can be a playmaker if you need him to. Same thing as Booker. Booker, he can lead. He can put the team on his back and do playmaking. So if you put Booker at the number 1 and put Barea at number 2, that might be a good little backcourt for him.
Yeah. So Golden State got Alex Toohey, Toohey. He's from Australia.
Oh yeah.
He's 6'8". He's a 6'8" forward. Let's see what they say about him. Joined the NBA Academy in 2020 and played 3 seasons with this team. So Toohey he committed to Gonzaga but chose to stay in Australia and play for the Sydney Kings for 3 seasons. So he's been on the pro level for 3. So he's got some pro type experience, even though it's overseas, international.
But this is the one thing I will say about Steve Kerr as a coach. He doesn't really do too much as far as player development.
I don't know.
He does, like, if you give him an already made team, he can beat that up more.
I don't know about player development, but I will say that he does give his bench a chance, and because he's always done that. He's always been one to take his starters out. Like I said, to start the third quarter, start the second. I mean, like, he's always developed his role players early as far as with playing time. Now, I don't know about player development because it's so different now. They don't even scrimmage against each other in practice anymore. It's just shooting drills and all of that. But I don't know about developing players. I mean, who can we say that has really developed since we watched? Even Jordan Poole, I didn't think really developed in that offense because, you were free to jack up threes. And of course, they with the 3-point shooting, they were able to spread the floor. And that's why it made it so easy for Draymond to get his assist up and be a facilitator, because his floor spread when you had Thompson, Steph, and then, like I said, Jordan Poole coming off the bench, giving you 20, so I don't know about developing a player's, game as far as his individual play, but the team concept, yeah, he was good at that because his play is similar to the triangle, what he learned in Chicago, of course. But I don't know about player development because I don't know about that.
Yeah, if y'all have any other opinions, let us know. Get in the comments and let us know what you think about the picks, what you think about where players should probably have stayed or probably have gone. Like I said, the draft, like I look for the top 10 and I just kind of just fall off on some of it just because it's more or less a EuroLeague now, and I don't really get to pay attention to the EuroLeague.
I mean, even Boston traded in the second round for a 6'4" guard out of VCU, but he's from Ukraine. He was a senior, so he's 6'4", 206 pounds. So so that's another player that they brought in. VCU had a strong defense, so.
Yeah, because I mean, you had the Spurs. They traded the guard Jones out of Marquette to the Indiana.
Yeah.
So I mean, and not even that, but there's some good players that I could probably see going the first round that went to the second round and they just get traded somewhere else. Yeah. So
I hope the Lakers get rid of Connect from Tennessee. I think playing behind LeBron, playing on that team just crushed him. I don't know how he ended up in from Tennessee. He's a good player. He's a good player, and I think because remember they was trying to trade him to Charlotte, but he failed. It was a physical something went wrong with the physical or something that the trade ended up being denied, and he ended up going back to the Lakers. But I think that hurt him as well because they did not want to have him get injured where they couldn't get rid of him. So even if they wanted to put him back out on the floor, he didn't get as much playing time after that trade was nixed, cut off. So I hope they get rid of him as well. Like I said, I just want but we're not gonna. So. If you go to the Lakers, good luck with that as long as LeBron is on your team. And now you got Luka too. So oh my gosh, I don't see another All-Star coming out of the Lakers this year, and you got Bronny still. So I just don't see it, So America, that's all I'm saying about that. Don't go to the Lakers. It's not until LeBron leaves. Do not, get up out of there fast. Get out of there fast because he's still
pack the bags.
He's still, he's still there, and that's just one of my biggest. And I'm not a Laker fan, but I want to see they've got so much young talent that they just keep getting rid of. But anyway, D-Lo, good show.
Yes, sir. Especially for this last season.
Yeah, last episode of the season.
Yeah, and then we're gonna. The Sports Junkie Lounge is not going anywhere. We'll bring you news as it comes along. This start of the new season, we'll be getting into my personal episode mixed in with D-Lo. So
I want to get into some NFL. We'll be able to get into some NFL camp, training camp. When we come back, to start our new season, there's going to be a lot to unpack. Do you have a team that you like in the NFL? Yes or no? Just yes or no?
No, I don't. I'm actually the way I am with basketball now. I enjoy the sport, right. Especially with the NBA. Like I will say, through and through, I'm a Cats fan on college sport. No. NBA, I haven't had a team since Jordan. Just let's be that clear. I'm still at heart a Bulls fan. I am.
Yeah. I'm an NFL guy, America. NFL has always been my first love. So,
basketball was my first love. So
NFL was always not college. At a young age, I knew the difference, and I was like, turn that off. I was in Pampers talking about, I don't want to watch that. But yeah, so my team is the Las Vegas Raiders, and so when the new season starts, I would love to get into training camp, even just talking about my Raiders, and and the competition in the AFC West or whatever. So tune in, America, so that way we can hear who you like, and then another added feature that we look forward to, America, is that you'll be able to call in.
Yeah,
you'll be able to call in, and we're working on that. You'll be able to call in and take part, be part of the podcast, and so we look forward to getting your opinion as well, America. So yeah, tune in and come back next season because we're growing, we're getting better. we're going to get bigger and bigger, and without you, there is no us. So continue to tune in because we love it.
Like, share, and subscribe, and comment. I'm telling you, we may have my cousin and his nephew, another Raiders fan, on here to be talking about the Raiders. So
the Raiders.
And I may be on the draft board for a NFL team, so we may tune into that.
Let's get him a squad.
I got my younger brother talking about I need to be a Bengals fan. And then some people trying to draw me to the Raiders. So we gonna see what happens.
I'm ride or die. Ain't no way. Ain't no two ways about it. I'm just straight Raiders. We gonna see. Raiders or bust.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie though. I growing up, when I was in the 90s, and this is like for basketball, for me, basketball was my sport since I was 5 years old. Since I had a basketball in my hand, that was my sport.
Yeah.
But like I said in previous episodes, growing up in the 90s was the best time for sports for me. Like everything you turned on, basketball, football, baseball, it was nothing but greatness going around those leagues. You had, even with Randy Moss with the Raiders,
dark years, American. It wasn't Randy's fault. It was not.
It was not his fault. But I'm saying, like, Randy Moss, he was like, no matter what team he played for, he was great. He just, I don't know. And then you had Brett Favre with the Packers, and all that stuff.
Diva.
But it came out for good sports, like the whole Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire era of the baseball in the 90s. That whole home run run, but basketball for me was like that. I fell asleep thinking about basketball. I woke up thinking about basketball. Like it was my sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I did grow up in a basketball town. So Darren Feldhouse. Derek Feldhouse played for UK. He was from Maysville.
Okay, yeah, I remember Duran.
Yeah. So that's actually that was what their high school basketball court is named after, gymnasium named after. It's Derek Feldhouse. So we had a lot of UK players coming to Maysville doing basketball camps and all that. So that's where I met Jarrett Pickett when I was younger.
Prickett. Duran and Prickett.
But yeah, like I said, I may be on the draft board for a new basketball for an NFL team.
We're gonna find him one.
We'll see what happens. But in that conclusion, this is D-Lo.
And Cha-Cha's in the building always, all day.
And this is the Sport Junkie Lounge, signing out for the season.
We out.
Peace.